Hello, welcome to another special Sudoku solve video. Today I'm continuing the Sudokuvania puzzle. Has been updated, so I had to refill in all the digits. And when doing so, I saw some small things, and I actually already tried recording this, um, but I spent half an hour looking at nothing, so when I found something, I decided to restart the upload and start from there because in my opinion, it was a very very tough spot. So that's where we are now. This is where we left off last time, except I didn't. I have to remove that one. Um, so okay, so what I saw when refilling in my pencil mark was this, which it was quite easy. Um, but yeah, this is a tough spot to continue. I also for this video I changed the volume settings in OBS a bit, so I hope my microphone sounds better than it did before. Um, I got a comment about it, and I don't know. I really appreciate that type of feedback because then I know what to focus on when doing the improved audio. Now I just listen, but I tweak my volume of my laptop as well, so I don't never know um, if it's the volume of my laptop that is producing something or in the video or if it's my microphone. But yeah, um, so what I was staring at for the longest time for like I said half an hour um, was this cross. I just couldn't figure it out. What I found was that it's quite difficult, right? Because the high digit that's on there, because it sees those, it can only be a 6 as a high digit. And if it's a low digit, it cannot be 2, it cannot be 4, because then there will be a 9 there, so it's only 1 or 3. And this is, as a high digit, it sees 6 and 9, so it's 7 or 8, and that not being 8. And if it's a low digit, it's only 1, because this only high digit this can be a 6, so it's 1, 7, or 8. Now, this was quite quickly found. I found this quite quickly. Um, but then I've just been staring at it for so long that I just couldn't figure it out. What I eventually thought about is what if there is no 8, right? We have a 1 here and then a 7. Well, then this is a 1 7 pair. Whichever is the 1, let's say it's that one, then that's a 7. Then the only small digit this can be is a 1, and there's two ones. So we cannot have a 1 7 pair, so one of those has to be 8, and it has to be that one. And the 8 goes with a 3. And now we have something. So that's not a 3. This 8 and this 8 gives us an 8 there. And then I found this. And this this genuinely took me half an hour, even though it seems so simple now. Um, I assume these are connected. Like, these are very clearly. Well, it should say it in the rules, right? Uh, long green line on a line by 5 or more. Okay, I am very much going to assume that these are connected. Uh, this is a line I do not know. Well, okay, so let's imagine these were low. And these would be a 2 4 pair, and that would be a 9, and that would break. So these are not low, they are high. So these are 6, 7, 8, or 9, and not 8. And that's a low digit, so it's a 1 or a 3. If it's a 4, then both of these are 9. If it's a 3, this is an 8 9 pair, and that doesn't work either, so that's a 1. That's a lot more whisper. Okay, um, that says nothing. That says nothing. Um, oh, actually, if that's a 1, that's a 6. So then that's a 1. So if that's a 1, that's a 1. So either one of those is a 1. If that is a 1, that's a 7. So then that's a 1. So one of those is a 1. Okay, that. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Um. Okay. No, we're fine. We're fine. Um. So uh that's a high digit, and it's not a 6, not not an 8. So it's a 7 or a 9. If it's a 7, that's a 2. But that does seem to work. But that is a low digit. It's not 1 or 3. But it could be 4. So it's 2 or 4. And this is a high digit. You are a high digit. You're not 6 because that cannot be a 1. So you're 7, 8, or 9. What am I missing in this row? It's 5, 6, or 7. If that's 7, that's 7. If that's 6, one of those is 6. But yeah, okay. Um, is this all we're going to have? Oh, that's a 3. Due to horseplay in the factory, all knight's moves are strictly prohibited. It's a knight's move puzzle in the factory. Oh, oh, that has influence on this. I, I have been looking at this, but that okay. I am going to continue a bit with this because I want to basically, and I kind of want to continue to the boss puzzle as well. That's a small digit. And it's a 1 or a 3. This is the quarter, so there's no there's no the knight's moves. This is a high digit again, and it can. Oh, it could be 6. No, that cannot be a 1. It sees. Oh, so that's a 2 or a 3, not a 1 or a 3. I should pay more attention to those types of things. 7, 8, or 9. Okay. Um, I feel like I should be able to do more. Maybe just general Sudoku. I do not know what this is. But I don't think I can know. One of those is a 2 because this 2 sees those, and then one of those is a 2. Um, so what else? If this is a 2, if this is a 3, that's an 8, 9 pair. But it does seem possible. And again, if I feel like I'm getting stuck and I've been staring at something for a longer time than you know would be enjoyable to watch, I will do what I did in this video, and pause it, maybe go back and then explain what I found. But I don't know, it is just a tough puzzle. One of those is a 4. Yeah, so one of those is a 4. I kind of want this to unwind so I can finish this the courtyard. Um, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Well, okay. Maybe maybe we move on to the factory then and wait until we figure out what this is. I feel like there's more to be done though. I still haven't found the boss puzzle in this. I might go on until I find the boss puzzle and make the boss puzzle its own separate video. But I I don't think I'm sure about much at this point. Within this puzzle, this was so tough. Um, 5. So there's no 5 there. So one of those is a 5. So this is a 4-5 pair. Oh, that cannot be a 9. I should have seen that earlier. 6, 7. That's a 2 then. So that's a 4. But that's not a 7. One of these is a 7. That cannot be a 5. What am I missing here? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. 6, 8, or 9. And I feel like that's another Easter egg type thing. Um, that can now not be a 7. Does so I found this 2. So those cannot be 2. Sure. Um, naked single? Because I know the thing set that 2, 3, 4. There could be 5, not 6, not 8 or 9. So it's. Oh no, it could be 1. 1, 5, or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay. Um. Oh, there cannot be a 2 there, so that's a 2. 2, and that's a 7. And I think for now I'm just going to wait a bit with this puzzle and maybe come back to it later. Um, no. I'm gonna keep going just a bit more and then move on to the factory. I'm just very interested to look at the knight's move. To be honest, um, 4. That cannot be a 4, so one of those is a 4. Can I do the same with? No, not really. Ones. One of those is a 1. We don't know if this moves on, right? Hmm. Oh, that's an 8 because of this 8. 8, 8. One of those is an 8. We kind of knew. Ooh, there must be more just Sudoku to do. 6 and 9. If that's a 6, that's a 1, and that's a 7, and that's a 7. That's fine. If that's a 1, That's a 6. That's a 9. And that's a 6. Hmm. No, I think I'm going to go in circles with that. One of those is a 7 at least. Then one of those is a 7. This is 1, 2, not 3, 4. No, that doesn't see enough. To where I want to pencil mark it. I want to use the singles technique, just where more digits are looking at a thing, at one cell, but I'm not seeing that anywhere. Um, 6. 6 isn't one of those. 5 cannot appear on a whisper, so it's always relevant. 5 cannot be in one of those, and not be in one of those either, so it's in one of those. So that's 5, 5. So 5 is in one of those two, and one of those three. No, that that feels useless. Um, hmm. Well, that's not a 5, but that's very small. Um, if that's a 1, then one of those is 7, then one of those two is 7. If that is 7, makes sense, okay. I am going to move on to the factory. Maybe we'll do some work on here next time, but I'm not seeing anything quickly at this point. I'm going to pencil mark this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Then we're just going to move on. Maybe I'll look at it a bit more between the videos, but we're going to look at this. Um, this is an 8 cell thermos, so we can immediately pencil mark it quite easily. 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. And this is at minimum 2, no, not 2, 3, 3, whoa, 2, 4. So this is a minimum of 6, so it's 6, 7, or 8. If that's 8, then we have 7, 6, 5. Oh, and that breaks that does break every way to make 8, so that's not an 8. It's a 6 or a 7. And those see each other by knight's move. So that's a somewhat of a pair. What that is isn't that one. So okay, let's go through it. If that's 7, then that is 6, but then that's also 6. So that breaks. So that's not 7. Now, I think 6 here is going to be the strongest, right? Because that forces everything. If that's 6, then that's 7. And we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. That gives us a 4, 3. Wait. Okay, wait, no. 6 gives us a 2, 4. Then we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I kind of want it to be like where that is a 7 and then that's a 7. If if this is 7, no wait, isn't because I'm thinking right. If this isn't 7, if this is 6, then that has to be a 7. Because where else is 7 going to go? If that's a 6, if that's a 6, it sees that, so that's a 6. So that's a 7. Then where's 7 going to go in the box? It's not going to go on the arrow. It's not going to go there. So that isn't a 7. If that's a 7, then that's a 6. Wait, no. I'm sorry. That isn't a 6. If that's a 6, that's a 7, and there's nowhere to put 7. Yeah, that's true. So that has to be a 7. That's the only place 7 can go, and it sees the 6. So that's a 6. And then we have a lot more stuff. Um, but I feel like we can do more than this, right? Because 6 without a 1 is 2, 4. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're missing a 5. Now, now it's going to get more more tough, I think. Um, 2, not in any of those. If that's low, then that must be high. If that's low, it's a 1 or a 3. And that's either, so then that's 7, 8, or 9. You know, digits like this are pretty strong in Knight's move because they see that cell, that cell, that cell, and that cell. So they put it there. But, hmm. 5 doesn't go on a whisper, so it doesn't go there, it doesn't go there. It doesn't go in any of those, and it doesn't go there. So there is no 5 on this 5-cell thermo. I'm going to pencil mark that by doing this. Um, so the question is which is the low end, which is the high end, right? I think. Um, maybe this, because that cannot be 5. Those cannot be 5. That cannot be 5. Well, that cannot be 5. There's still 3 places to put 5. 7. That cannot be 7. What's the hardest digit? I think it's quite difficult. Oh, wait, this 4 sees that. So that's 4 and 2. That might help. None of those can be 4. That cannot be 4, and that cannot be 4. So one of those is a 4. That just means that cannot be 9. Um, if this is the low end, it sees 2, 4, and 3, so then that's a 1. I'm going to pencil mark that. That's a 1 or 7, 8, 9. Uh, if it's a 1, that can be any high digit, but this cannot be a 9, because then that's a 4. If, okay, so if this is high and this is a low digit, then it's 2 or 3. If it's 3, we have 4. 6, 7, 8. And then that's another 3. Wait, no, it's these 4. If that is 8, then we have 3, 6, 3. Wait. That's not true. That's what I'm saying is not even true. Because that can just be a 1 if that's an 8. 7 is more restricted in that sense because then that has to be a 1 or a 2. But what can this be? Because can this be a 3? If it's low, can this be a 3? 3, then 6 as the next digit because it sees 4 or 5. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a low digit there. That does seem possible. Okay. Um, that does seem possible. So it is, or a high digit. With a high digit, is there then more Sudoku to do? 6. So one of, if 6 is on the thermo, it's there. Wait, no, then 3. Yeah, then 6, 7, 8, 9. And 2 makes the problem, bigger. But with 2, it's still the only way to move it a bit is 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. And then that can be a 3. But that could be a 3. Maybe it's better to look at this digit then. If that's 3, or it's high, and then it's 6, 7, 8, or 9. That's that's a horrible pencil mark. Um, but let's go down the path, right? Also, it's C6, so it's not 6. That makes it appear a bit better. Um, 3. So one of those is a 3. Does this 2 have? This 2 does have somewhat of the same effect, but not quite as much because we don't know this digit. Okay, but that's besides the point. I think. Well, okay. So if you have the 4, you have this, but then that cannot be a 4. I know it can because of the whisper, but because of the thermo actually. But then it sees that digit, and that digit. So this 6, that couldn't be a 6. Well, it couldn't be a 6 anyway because of the thermo. But that's still something interesting, right? Because those 3. Okay. Um, but if that's a 3, that has to be an 8 or a 9. That's, but that's possible. But I think the point is that not both of these can be low. If that's a 7, then we have 2, 3, 7. No, but that could be a 1. So 1, 2, 3, 6, and then 7, 8, or 9. So where is this digit going to appear? Where is this digit going to appear within this box? It's not going to go there, there, or there. It's not going to be across its thermo. So it's not going to be there. And if that's 7 or 8, it's not going to go there. And if it's 1, it's not going either. Because 7, oh, well, no, 7, 8, 9 is possible. And then that's a 7 and that's a 7. Wow, okay. Um, then this digit is even worse. So, okay, so since this doesn't contain 5, it does contain whisper digits. I think that might be relevant because whatever this is, right, let's call it high, and then that's low. Then this is different, so that's that. So where is the switch going to be? If all of these are high, if only this one is high and all of these are low, and this must be 1, 2, 3, 4. Is one okay? So these cannot be all low, and these can these be? No, because this two sees that one and that one. So whichever one it is, whichever one's high, it has to take another one. Can we have 4 high digits? Then we have 6, possibly 7, 8, 9. Well, no, then it would have to be 9, 8, 7, 6, which isn't possible. 9, 8, 7, 6. But that does seem possible. Ah, that's almost something, I think. Um, it's at least the start of a thought. Um, yeah, no, that does seem to work. That does still seem to work. Two, not there, not there. So one of those is 2. So that couldn't be a 2. But that's not not anything. I think it must have something to do with the whisper digits, like the way I've been thinking about it. If this is 6, 7, if this is, like I said, so this wasn't possible to be all high. If this is 9, 8, 7, 6, 9, 8, so then that's not 8, and that's 7, and that's 1 or 2. And that's 9, so that can be any high digit, any low digit. Why I want to disprove that so much is because then we can extend these by 1. Because then either one, if they're low, they have to grow by 1. This one always does, I guess. This one is always the same type of size. Because if it isn't, and this is either, and this is high, then that's low. That doesn't work. We've looked at that because then it would have to be 4, 3, 2, 1. And that would break because of this 2. And if it's high, and if all of these were high, then we would have 9, 8, 7, 6, and that would break. So this is always the same of the polarities from the whispers. Um, Now this one, can these be a string? 8, 7, 6 doesn't work. 9, but then we have, that cannot be 6, so then it's 9, 8, 7. Seems to work. 7, that's not 7. So those are 7. No, that's not nothing. Um, wow. I think I've been looking at nothing for 15 minutes. Or at least it feels like it. Those. So this thermal contains 5 of the digits, right? And at least 2 highs and 2 lows. No, 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 not necessarily, because it can still be 4 highs and 1 low. If that's a 1. If that's a 1, does that have to be a 1? If it isn't, it's that one. And that cannot be 2, so that's 3 or 4. But then that could be 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Whoa, okay. 6. So that couldn't be a 6. Well, it never could, because this is the same polarity and it doesn't increase this way, it decreases then this way. If this digit is a 9, then either that or that is a 9. And one of those is a 9. I'm looking very, very, very far away from this. I don't know if that's even within reason. Um, I'm not going back there. I'm not going back there. I believe I've seen everything I need to know from this. I really hope so. Um, oh no, there's disjoint sets as well. No, I don't think that's going to happen. Um, 2's 2. One of those is 2. I looked at that already, but I don't know. I feel like there must be something. If that's a 3, that's an 8 or 9. And this decreases. If that's a 6, where does 6 go in within this box? It doesn't go there, doesn't go there, so it goes in one of those. The 6 cannot go there, cannot go there or there, but that's it. I feel like I'm stuck again. Same as I did before I stopped. Uh, 6, 7, and 8. So 6, 7, and 8 have to appear in those digits. So if this is If that's a 9, and those are not 9, those are not 9, and that's not 9. So that has to then be 9, and that's not possible. So this has to grow as well. So 9, 8, 7, 6 wasn't possible. If these are now low, they are from, it's either 1, 3, or 2, 3. So then that's 3. If that's low, then we have same thing, right? Because that cannot be 2 and that cannot be 2. So then one of those is 3. And this cannot be 4. This cannot be, but that could be 4. Well, this could be 4. So that's not true. It's not true that one of those is 3. But if this is low, it's the same problem if that's 1. If we have 1 here, and we have 1 in one of those, we don't have 1 there. So that could be a 1. If that's a 1, that's a 1. But that could be 2, 3. Good. Okay, so that cannot be a 4, but that could be 1. If this is low, right? It is 1, 1 or 2, possibly 3 or 4, but never 4. So 1, 3, 4 doesn't work. There's no way to make this 4 because the 4th is there. So whichever is the small one, it doesn't extend here. So this is a high one. So it is 7, 8, or 9. In fact, it's not 8 or 9, it's a 7. And then one of those is 8 and 9. And we figured out this couldn't be 9, so that's a 9. Oh, I hope I'm correct. I so hope I'm correct. If I'm not, it's going to be sad. Uh, if that's 7, this 1 forces 1 in either one of those. So that's not a 1, so one of those is a 1. So that's a 1. So that's a 1. And we found stuff. Okay. Um, I am so happy. I'm so glad. Um, so this is small digits, and it is between. Oh no, that couldn't be 6. So it's 2, 3, or 4. Um, with that not being able to be a 2, that not being able to be a 4. But I think that's fair. I think this is valid. I'm going to try and do a bit more Sudoku, but if I find nothing, I don't find anything while I finish off what I want to say for the video. Um, if that's 7, that's a 2. If it's 9, it can be 3, and that can be 4. Um, I think it's time for the boss puzzle in order to continue. Um, 7, 8, 9. This sees 1, 2, not 3, 4, 5, 3 or 6. It sees a 3, so it's a 6. So 6 is in one of those. Um, but yeah, no, this video had me struggling way more than I usually do. But that's okay. I feel like I pushed myself. Um, a bit more than usual, kinda. Um, which is good. That does that is the thing that has you improve, right? Which this was tough. Um, so I feel like I've learned from this puzzle. Um, but yeah, I didn't make as much progress as I did in the last one. I also spent a bit less time, but that's okay. Um, next video is just going to be the singular boss puzzle. I don't know how hard or easy it's going to be, but uh, we'll see. And then we'll see how we continue with it with this big puzzle. Uh, from here, we've gone a long way, and we still have some things to unwind, but we'll see that when we get there, I guess. I feel like I still can do more here, but I might look at that a bit when I'm not recording and then just explain what I found. Um, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye bye.